Hey. Hello. Today we're going to do my eyeshadow palette collection. First of all, hello, I'm Amanda. Eyeshadow palettes are my favorite. They're my very favorite makeup product. And I know I have a lot. I don't need to hear about it. Last year I did a pan those shadows project. So I have all my palettes listed on a spreadsheet and I randomly generated a number, chose a palette, and then randomly generated a number from that palette and I chose an eyeshadow to try to hit pan in that month. This year I want to do something a little bit different, so in order to do that I wanted to declutter some palettes that I knew I wasn't going to use, and then of course I will declutter any along the way that I decide I don't want. But I thought I would start here with my palette collection and we're going to go through the palettes. I did declutter some, so you'll see those at the end. So let's look at my eyeshadow palettes. so I know that was a lot. I did actually want to show you the palettes that I am going to be decluttering. So first we're going to start with the Urban Decay Naked palette. This is my first high-end palette. I have used it. I used it for a very long time. It doesn't look like it. But I just don't reach for it anymore. I definitely want more shimmer, glitter, sparkle. Like, I want more from my shades. I don't use it. So I'm going to definitely remove it from my collection. Maybe I'll like put it in a box up in a shelf or something just so I can keep it, but the Naked palette is being removed from my collection. The next palette is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. And it's not that I dislike this palette. I actually think it's a very nice palette, but I feel like it's just time for me to pass this on. This is one of the palettes that I had chosen to pan a shadow in. Pan in a shadow in, I should say. And I did do that. I don't know. I don't really feel the way about this palette that everyone else seems to feel. And so I feel like I can pass it on. The next one is the Pure Trolls palette. This was my favorite, one of my favorite palettes for a very long time, and I still love this palette. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the quality. I just don't reach for it, and it can get loved on somewhere else, so that is why we're getting rid of this. But I actually really do like that palette. And you might be thinking, if you like it, why don't you just use it? Because I just don't use it, that's why. The next is the last Morphe palette that I own. This is the Morphe and Kathleen Lights palette. And I was keeping this because I like Kathleen Lights, and this palette is fine. But I can definitely do this with any of the other palettes that I have. The Morphe formula has never like really been that big of a deal to me. I would go as far to say as I don't purchase from Morphe anymore. But I was keeping this because I like Kathleen, but I also never use it, so we'll move it along. Two from Tarte. The first is the Fall Feels palette. This is one that I was trying to hit pan in, and this shadow is, I used this shadow every day for 2 months and I didn't hit pan in it. Nothing amazing about this palette. It does come with a blush in the middle, which I love the Tarte blushes. I love the packaging. It's very cozy, but I just don't need it. I know I shouldn't keep things just because I have like an emotional or nostalgic connection to them. I do actually keep things that I like regardless of those connections, but if I don't feel anything about it, I can easily pass it on, you know? The other from Tarte is their BU palette from the Sugar Rush. Is this from their Sugar Rush line? Oh, it says Sugar Rush. This palette is lovely. There's nothing wrong with it. I actually like that it has kind of shallow pans because, let's be honest, we don't need that much eyeshadow in a pan. We all have quite a lot of eyeshadow at this point, I feel. Even if you're not a hardcore makeup person, I feel like we all have like enough eyeshadow. But this is another that I can pass on. There's still plenty of use in it. The next is from Dominique Cosmetics. This one came in a BoxyCharm last year, so this is a mini of the Celestial Storm palette, but it's called Celestial Thunder. Seems like something I can pass on. I have these shades in other palettes, and I don't dislike the Dominique Cosmetics formula. It's nothing that's like my absolute favorite, so we're gonna go ahead and pass that one on. Blink Electric Eyes palette came in a BoxyCharm a long time ago, and this palette is gorgeous, but it's one of those that's so small I never remember to use it. I don't want giant palettes, but I don't want tiny palettes. There needs to be a good in between. I have two from Juvia's Place. The first is the Nubian 2 palette. This one just kind of gets neglected. Actually, all of my Juvia's Place shadows kind of get neglected. And then the Warrior by Juvia's Place. Beautiful, but I'm realizing that I just don't like how golds look on my eyes. I feel like someone should get more use out of this than me because it's just sitting here. And then the rest are all like drugstores. We have this one from Pixi. This is the Heart Defensor eye palette, and actually my friend Heather just sent this to me, and I haven't even tried it yet. I just decided, listen, I'm really not going to. I like Pixi, but for some reason I find it very easy to declutter, and I don't know why. Especially because I've never used one of their eyeshadows. I should use it. The e.l.f. Modern Metals palette is actually great. I love this palette. The mattes in here are fantastic. It gets ignored. And then we have 4 palettes from Milano. I love Milano. They're one of my favorite brands. This gilded formula of eyeshadow though is not my favorite. So the Gilded Noir palette, it's not bad, but it's just not my favorite, and I know I have things that I like better, so I'm passing them on. So the Gilded Noir palette, we have the Gilded Gold palette, then we have the Gilded Jade palette, and the Gilded Violet palette. I definitely prefer the Bold Obsessions, the Soft and Sultry. That formula from Milano was so perfect. And then I really do like their Most Wanted palettes. Also, I have the Outlaw Olive palette. It's a little 6 pan and that's beautiful. But the Gilded line is just not my favorite. So we're gonna pass this on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What is your favorite eyeshadow palette? Hopefully the pan that shadow version, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna call it this year, will be up soon, and you will enjoy that series. I'm excited about it, so I'm excited that I'm excited. That means I'm probably gonna stick with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.